What's good, YouTube? Back here with another reaction video. Today we got how NFL players really feel about Jalen Hurts. Now I'm not even gonna do too much talking. We're gonna let this video do its thing. Hopefully it hits all the points it needs to hit. Because if it doesn't, then I'm gonna speak on it. I mean, it's gonna be obvious, but I'm gonna tell y'all anyway. I'm an Eagles fan. I'm a Jalen Hurts fan. And the disrespect lately, while we about to be in the chip again, feel me, is a little too much for me. So I'm gonna just let this video speak on itself, and hopefully I don't jinx how he plays this Sunday. So let's get into it.
I think Jalen Hurts is also like the most overrated player in football. He plays quarterback for a team that's an all-star team. Yeah. They have the best O-line in football. It's not even close. Maybe the best duos at receiver in all of football. Just think if you put some other quarterbacks in Philly, you put Kyler Murray there, you'd go, damn, Kyler's amazing. Is he the MVP of football?
They said that before. And you saw what happened when Kenny Pickett got thrown out there, right? But I ain't gonna get into that. Let's you know.
He reminds me a lot of Taysom Hill. Is he the most polished passer right now? No, wow. But I think he can play a lot of other positions like Taysom Hill. Maybe some running back, maybe some wide receiver. I think he'd be a beast on special teams in the coverage unit.
Oh, a special teams guy, huh?
Jalen Hurts is a polarizing quarterback on a polarizing team with a polarizing head coach. So you're not going to be surprised to hear that there were some intriguing opinions on him that we did find about him. Like, I mean, hell, even when the dude does win, Hurts seems to lose. With team drama and fan criticism somehow always finding its way
like, how does that, hold on,
I'm
sorry. How does that make sense? You get the dub, but somehow you still criticize. To the death of you. Like, okay, I'm gonna let the video do its thing. I'm sorry.
2022, Jalen Hurts still managed to take his team to the Super Bowl and deliver a simply sensational performance, only to come out on the losing side. So in today's video, we're going to go over different times that players, coaches, and even analysts talk down about Jalen Hurts, and at the end of the video, even reveal the polarizing take that 49ers defensive end Nick Bosa has on Jalen Hurts. Because truthfully, everyone's still asking the question, is he a baller or is he just benefiting from his surroundings? Now, truthfully, Jalen Hurts has been polarizing from day one since he's been drafted. His college career was turned on its head when he was benched in the national championship game, but he rebounded strongly in Oklahoma, collecting over 5,000 total yards and 50 total touchdowns in 2019. In doing so, he showed remarkable dual threat talent and leadership to take the Sooners to a 12-2 record in a college playoff appearance. Despite all this, though, he somehow still managed to fall to the second round of the 2020 NFL draft, with many analysts quickly to highlight his athleticism is the only real positive to his game. Like, I mean, how could they completely ignore the 3,851 yards and 32 touchdowns he had just thrown as a junior at a 69.7% completion rate? ESPN's college football analyst Jesse Palmer emphasized the common question on Hurts by saying this.
He reminds me a lot of Taysom Hill with the New Orleans Saints. Jalen Hurts is a guy that can squat 585 pounds. He can run a sub 4.640, ran for over 3,200 yards and 43 touchdowns in his career. Is he the most polished passer right now? No, but I think he can play a lot of other positions like Taysom Hill, maybe some running back, maybe some wide receiver. I think he'd be a beast on special teams in the coverage unit.
And yes, you heard that right. Jesse Palmer suggested putting Jalen Hurts on the special teams unit. Remember, this is a second team All-American quarterback who what was this dude thinking when he gave this take? Like, I mean, truthfully, this is the kind of criticism that has stuck with Jalen Hurts his entire career, to the extent following a wildcard victory over the Green Bay Packers this season. Analysts have been quick to focus on criticizing Hurts' performance rather than simply praising the Eagles for their win. Like, even Chase Daniel can be heard on the facility saying this.
This is the type of performance that diminishes the argument that winning is a QB stat. Because the Philadelphia Eagles did not win because of Jalen Hurts. Yeah, the stats look great. Yeah, we sit up here, we praise him as a winner, and we're doing our job. We're trying to tell you what we see.
You don't praise him as a winner. And then you also, look, here's the thing. We win, he gets no credit. We lose, he gets all the blame. Like, it truly boggles my mind, right? It truly boggles my mind. But it's Again, I'm
from
gonna let the video cook.
38 years of experience. And with Jalen, he has an issue pulling the trigger when stuff is open.
And as usual, you can guess that Colin Cowherd had some words about this also. Like, again, deciding.
My blood boiling, man. It's cool though. Keep talking crazy because he gonna show y'all.
To focus on Hurts' performance.
He already has, but once we win the chip, don't even say too much, man. Don't say too much.
Playoff win, rather than everything he did to help them win, he criticized the output from the Philly quarterback before going on to say this.
Okay, so Philadelphia won, and I'm not sure I feel good about it at all. How can you have that offensive line, two excellent receivers, Dallas Goedert and Saquon Barkley, be at home and be 2 for 11 on third down and throw for 121 yards? That wasn't good. Philadelphia, if they win the Super Bowl, will do the unthinkable twice. They'll win a Super Bowl with a coach we're not sure of and a quarterback nobody really loves.
And don't get me wrong, because playoff football, you definitely do need to, there's going to be scrutiny. People are going to give their opinions about these guys, but this is the kind of stuff that Jalen Hurts has to deal with. Like, I mean, yes, he does need to pull the trigger quicker when seeing open receivers, and yes, he has had an up and down year, but this was a playoff win over a top tier defense, having just missed a couple weeks with a concussion. Oh, and for the record, he walked away from the game with 131 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions.
Hold on, I'll just say this. The narrative has continued to change about Jalen Hurts. First, it was too many turnovers, right? He just turned the ball over way too much, on too many interceptions. Bada bing, bada boom. And I'm just starting with this year. Then he cut the turnovers down. Now it's he can't throw the rock, right? He can't do this, he can't do that. He showed you. He did it multiple games in a row. And then that one game where, obviously, he came in a press conference and said, is that what y'all wanted? Is that what y'all need to see? And now, they are riding what works with Saquon Barkley, who's going insane right now. Who would not give Saquon Barkley the ball right now? And he's getting criticized for that. Oh, he's getting carried. A QB can't do this and they can continue to win. Well, he's continued to win. What is it now, 14 straight? I don't know. And nobody ever talks about, nobody actually watches the game. Because let's talk about the last game, right? This man, Jalen Hurts, gets sacked 8 times. I'm talking about the Rams game, by the way. He gets sacked 8 times. 8. Devontae Smith, deep pass early in the game. Catches it. And it was unnecessary roughness, right? That would have been probably a smooth 35-yard play. And how about the 40-plus yard bomb, A.J. Brown, crying about not getting the ball, by the way. Perfect dime where only he can catch it. It's in his hands, 2 hands on it, falling out of bounds. Probably would have been the TD. He drops that too. And can we also talk about the tush push, which would have been a touchdown, but Lane Johnson jumped? Or how about I think it was illegal man downfield on the screen pass to Dallas Goedert? Like, these are little things, and these are just things I'm coming up with off the top of my head. Like, so I don't know how people just continue to create certain narratives, and it's obvious they aren't watching the game. It's obvious they aren't watching the game. And a lot of times when he puts up these stats, I don't think he's playing great, but I don't think he's playing bad at all. Like, he's doing what's necessary for the team to win. And I don't see what's wrong with that, but I guess I'll never understand at this point.
And only 2 sacks taken to go along with 36 rushing yards. And again, I do get that this is the playoffs, but for them to just go after Jalen Hurts and not focus on all the good things he did to help that team get the playoff win, it makes no sense. Like, the matter of fact is that he protected the ball against a very tough defense, yet he still had to face all this criticism, and it kind of just proves the point that there's all.
Get matched today with the tax expert who's just right for your situation. They'll do your taxes from start to finish.
And I didn't know being safe with the ball was something to be criticized about.
But skepticism surrounding Jalen Hurts.
If he's safe with it, oh my God, he's not throwing the rock, he's not doing this. But if he's throwing the ball, 50-50 balls, getting picked, can't have it, can't do it, can't.
Throughout his career. And I mean, perhaps this is
it.
what reflects the general benefit of the doubt given to quarterbacks taken so highly in the first round in comparison to the reluctancy to do the same for quarterbacks taken later in the draft, like Jalen Hurts or even a Brock Purdy of a more recent example. Like, I mean, after all, it's only been 3 years since Jalen Hurts was named the third best player in the NFL by his peers. Like, in that remarkable 2022 season, Hurts passed for 3,701 yards, 22 touchdowns, and just 6 interceptions to go along with 760 yards and 13 touchdowns on the ground. I mean, there were many NFL players who even had him first on their top 100 list, with Kenny Moore summing it up the best.
Jalen Hurts is a great quarterback for this league. He's not really looking to scramble. He's a pocket passer. He's just able to use his legs. He got good legs. Dual quarterbacks make the defense that they're going against a little undisciplined. You got to choose one. Either you're going to cover or get out of coverage to go tackle the quarterback. Hurts beat us from a quarterback draw.
Like, I mean, that's high praise from an NFL cornerback who details just how much of a nightmare it is to defend a quarterback with a skill set like Hurts. Derek Brown of the Panthers also backed this up, saying this when he was asked who the #1 guy was in the 2022 season.
He was the #1 guy.
I'm going to say Jalen Hurts. Make big plays with his feet or big plays with his arm. Take one away and he might kill you with the other.
Like, this is a special skill set that propelled the Eagles to a 14-3 record in a division title, which Hurts and company converted into a Super Bowl appearance. Then on the biggest of stages, Hurts delivered his absolute best, going toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes in an absolute thriller. Hurts completed 71.1% of his passes for 304 yards, 1 touchdown and 0 interceptions, while also adding 70 yards and a whopping 3 touchdowns on the ground. Unfortunately, though, as we all know, the 4-touchdown effort from Hurts somehow wasn't enough to get the job done, as the Eagles fell by 38 points to 35, but he certainly earned the respect of his opponents. Super Bowl MVP Patrick Mahomes couldn't have said it much stronger in his praise for Jalen, also reflecting on the journey his opposite number had undertaken.
Yeah, I mean, if there was any doubters left, there shouldn't be now. I mean, the way he stepped up on this stage and ran through the ball, whatever it took for his team to win, I mean, that was a special performance that I don't want it to get lost in the loss that they had. I mean, even whenever we got all the momentum in that game and we went up 8 points in the fourth quarter, for him to respond and move his team right down the football field and run it in himself for the 2-point conversion, it was a special performance by him, man. And I mean, you make sure you appreciate that when you look back on this game.
And I mean, honestly, the future Hall of Famer wasn't the only Chief to recognize this as well, with another player set for Canton also praising Hurts. This time, defensive tackle Chris Jones, who knows better than most how hard it is to stop the Eagles quarterback, said this.
He had the best performance in the Super Bowl that I've ever seen of a quarterback. Running the ball, throwing the ball, he balled out.
Like, I mean, even as Patrick Mahomes said in his post-game press conference, Jalen Hurts delivered under pressure time and time again in that Super Bowl. This also didn't go unnoticed amongst Jalen's teammates, with future Hall of Famer Jason Kelce sending plenty of praise in his quarterback's direction when asked about his play and how it continued into the 2023 season. Like, I mean, Kelce, who has seen a lot of the NFL, told reporters this.
There aren't too many guys that I've played with, probably nobody I've played with, that's been more clutch down the stretch. I mean, if you look at, since he's, especially last year, 2-minute situations, game on the line, the Super Bowl goes down to touchdown right down the stretch. I mean, he's been so good in crucial situations when things have to happen. And that's a trait not to take lightly. I think that if you look at most of the best players, that is a trait that they have to have. And it's a big reason why we've won the last 3 weeks is his ability to really get it done down the stretch when it matters most.
Like, that's a clutch trait that every quarterback needs. Like, we've seen so many quarterbacks crumble once they do get onto the playoff stage, but for Jalen Hurts to deliver like that told all his teammates in the entire organization what they had on their hands. They responded by inking him to a 5-year contract extension worth $255 million, making him the 3rd highest paid player in NFL history. Like, I mean, obviously Philly fans were delighted, but it's a testament to Hurts' character and work ethic that even his NFC East rival quarterback Dak Prescott was happy for him.
What are your thoughts on Jalen getting paid?
Yeah, congratulations. Proud of him. I hosted Jalen on a visit way back in Mississippi State years ago, and a fan of the guy, that the way he plays the game. Not a fan of his team and when they have success necessarily, but a fan of him and the way that he approaches it. And just somebody that was counted out early because of his play style and just has had success and trusted himself, trusted in the process, and I'm proud of him, and he deserves every bit of it.
And honestly, I mean, hearing so much about how much respect Mahomes and Prescott have for this guy is super telling, and this was backed up by Baker Mayfield, who was asked to comment on Hurts prior to the 2023 early season clash. Like, I mean, one of his biggest strengths in Hurts' profile leaving college was his leadership ability, and this clearly stuck through into his pro game, as was pointed out by Baker, who told Sports Illustrated he's a tremendous leader. I think you guys have seen it. His play speaks for itself, but his work ethic is extreme.
Hey, his peers know what's up. And people who actually watch the game know what's up.
Extremely important to him, and you can see that resonates with the whole team. Every team he's been on, he's never changed. That's the special thing about him. So in that 2023 season, he went on to lead the Eagles to a 10-1 record with apparently no signs of a Super Bowl hangover. However, a Week 13 clash with the 49ers kickstarted an almighty spiral, which is what has led to the question marks provided by some of the analysts at the beginning of this video. The Eagles' 42-19 loss to San Francisco was the first of 5 losses in 6 games, which turned out to be 6 losses from 7 when the Eagles were turfed out in the playoffs in the wildcard round by the Bucs. I mean, hell, we've even spent a lot of time praising Jalen Hurts' playstyle, but there was no such praise from 49ers edge rusher Nick Bosa, who claimed to have shown everyone the blueprint on how to beat Hurts.
Yeah, I mean, you see it on tape though, and then obviously we put the blueprint out there. Hopefully Cowboys watch the tape, yeah, he wasn't completing passes when he had to roll behind or outside, and those tackles kick so much that it invites you to pick a side and let him go. Because Jalen's looking at the rush.
What is he talking about?
So yeah, you just have to be disciplined and not give him that quick escape route where he could get to his guys quick. And it paid off. And our back end played awesome.
And I mean, honestly, it should come as no surprise that the bitter NFC rival is more than happy to criticize Jalen's game. And in that video, Bosa is essentially undermining so much of what made Hurts special in 2022. He's probably taking great joy in claiming that Hurts is always looking to run and that he always has his eyes on pressure. And to be fair, Bosa and his crew absolutely did get the better of Hurts and the Eagles in that game, as they restricted him to a 57.8% completion rate and set the Eagles off on a spiral that could see them lose 5 of their last 6 regular season games, to the point even that head coach Nick Sirianni was on the hot seat just 1 year after playing in the Super Bowl. Like, I mean, with that playoff loss to Tampa Bay also being an emphatic 32 points to 9, the offseason dialogue surrounding Hurts was very strange. He'd achieved so much, but there were concerns in that the closing stretch of 2023 that led many to second guess Jalen. And even entering this season too, Chris Sims went on a podcast and said this.
Jalen Hurts is, I respect a lot about Jalen Hurts, but I think Jalen Hurts is also like the most overrated player in football. All right, that's me. I know I'm wrong. I take a lot of crap about that comment, but you know, he plays quarterback for a team that's an all-star team. They have the best O-line in football. It's not even close. Maybe the best duos at receiver in all of football. Just think, if you put some other quarterbacks in Philly, you put Kyler Murray there, you'd go, damn, Kyler's amazing. Is he the MVP of football?
As we all know, though, Jalen has gone.
First of all, I don't know where that Kyler Murray banter comes from either, because Kyler is nice. If we talk about talent, I think he's the top 8 talent in the league at 5'10", 5'9". Hey, but all that aside, man, I yapped a lot throughout the video. Y'all pretty much got where I stand on Jalen. I think he's a great player. I think he's an amazing leader. I think he has all the tools to be what he needs to be in this situation. It's really that simple. Yeah. And I think once he plays his game, once he does what he needs to do, it's really, the proof is in the pudding. It's a W 9 times out of 10. And literally one of the only times that he did what he needed to do and we lost was in the chip. If it wasn't for that fumble, which was some BS, feel me? Like, we would be champions right now. He would be a champion right now, and probably a Super Bowl MVP. It's probably, actually, scratch that. He would be a Super Bowl MVP. And the crazy thing is, I still feel like he would get some disrespect. But that's how it goes, man. If we beat this man right here, then y'all will see us in the chip once again. And honestly, it's a giving Super Bowl rematch, but I'm doing a lot of jinxing. I don't want to do that. Jalen, continue to do your thing, man. If you ever see this, big fan, and big supporter. When they all talking about you, I'm still rocking with you, my boy. But all that aside, man, that's going to end up this reaction video. I'm not going to tell you to like, comment, share, or subscribe. Because if y'all rock me, I'm going to do that anyway. And I'm going.